Have you gotten a cancer diagnosis, or has someone you love gotten a cancer diagnosis? Well, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be a death sentence. There's many things that we can do, that we can change in our life, that we can add to our diet, that we can add to our wellness regime that can help to kill cancer cells. So thank you so much for joining us tonight on episode 16 of Nature's Mysterious Medicine Show. And tonight we're going to be talking about cancer killers. And really, to me, there's a difference between a cancer fighter and a cancer killer. Are you with me? Type yes in the comments. So what do you think the difference is? So to me, a cancer fighter is an herb or a plant or any kind of compound that is going to help strengthen our immune system so that our bodies are able to combat the cancer cells, and our bodies are strong enough and able to find the cancer cells, seek them out, and destroy them upon contact. So actually what cancer is it's a miscommunication between your body and your immune system, because our bodies create cancer cells every day. Actually, everyone's body has cancer in it. But a healthy immune system will actually kill those cancer cells. So if for some reason you have immortal cells replicating in your body, cancer cells that aren't being taken care of by your immune system, then that means there's a miscommunication. For some reason, your immune system isn't seeing the cancer. So what you need to do, one of the main things that we're trying to do in treating a cancer diagnosis, is getting your body to see the cancer so that it can fight it. Because the only thing that's really going to kill cancer cells in your body is your body, besides, other compounds that you bring in that kill cancer. But chemo and radiation will kill the daughter stem cells, which is what creates the tumors. But what is creating the daughter stem cells is the mother stem cells. And chemo and radiation don't kill the mother stem cells. The only thing that will kill the mother stem cells is your body. It has to be your immune system. And they know that chemo and radiation don't kill those mother stem cells. And that's why they say that you're not cured. They just call it remission. And they won't say that you're cured until you're 5 years out, because they know that the odds of the cancer coming back are actually high, because chemo and radiation actually strengthen cancer cells. So by utilizing those methods, which are not only reducing your immune function, but many of the tests that they have, like PET scans, actually can, so it's like cancer feeds on sugar, right? And PET scans, they give you a liquid, and it tracks all of the cancer cells to that, and it's actually sugar based. So they know that cancer feeds on sugar. So that's not anything that anyone doesn't know. So the most important thing that you can do if you have a cancer diagnosis is to avoid sugar, because not only does sugar, white sugar now we're talking about, not fruit sugar, but not only does white sugar deplete our vitamins and minerals, but it actually decreases our immune function, and then it feeds cancer cells. So that's 3 reasons not to use sugar if you are battling a cancer diagnosis. It's not that you can't have sweet things, like sweet treats or something, but you just wouldn't want to have white sugar. So if you were using maple syrup actually kills cancer cells. So you could use maple syrup. Stevia is another option, and stevia is a natural sweetener, and it actually also kills cancer cells. So if everything that we're bringing into our diet, into our bodies, into our awareness, into our lives is actually something that is known to cause apoptosis, which is cellular suicide of cancer cells, and there's many compounds that when a cancer cell comes in contact with it, it is forced to commit cellular suicide. So if everything that we're taking into our bodies is causing apoptosis and boosting our immune system, then how could we not be killing the cancer, right? If we make sure that we're not, eating foods that are feeding it, we're not going to places that are toxic where we're breathing poisonous fumes that are decreasing our immune function and actually could also be feeding the cancer. There's so many reasons that we could have cancer growing in our body. It could be environmental pollutants. It could be like what we're rubbing on ourselves. So many body care products have methylparaben or sodium lauryl sulfate, which is like a garage floor cleaner. Propylene glycols like antifreeze. There's just so many petroleum ingredients in so many of the body care products that people are using every day. And, sure, you might be able to get away with it for a little while, but after years and years and years of that exposure, and actually a lot of times cancer is an accumulation of toxins in our bodies. So it might not be just one thing that is the tipping point that actually brings us over the edge. It might be an accumulation of, rubbing toxic body care products on ourselves, working in an environment where there might be poisonous fumes or something like that. Like, say, if you were a mechanic or my husband's a plumber, of many other things, and the plumber's glue that plumbers have to use is really toxic. So there's pressure treated wood is super toxic. So there's many things that people do in their profession or in their daily life that could actually be causing cancer in our bodies. So if we can try to look at what we're doing, and if it seems like it's something that is causing immune dysfunction or decreased immune function, especially if we're someone who's fighting with some kind of immune disease like cancer, or really any kind of disease, basically is going to come down to what we're taking in our body. And if, everything that we put in our mouth is either going to increase inflammation or decrease inflammation, right? So inflammation is known to be the root of all disease. Ultimately, it could be the root of cancer. It could be the root of digestive issues. It could be the root of respiratory issues. Inflammation can definitely cause so many dysfunctions within our body that the more compounds we can bring in our body, right, Summer? You hear me? The more compounds that we can bring into our body that are decreasing inflammation are going to be boosting our immune function and helping our whole bodies to function at an improved rate than how it was before, when we were taking in compounds that were actually inhibiting its function, like white sugar. GMOs are another one that can cause inflammation and ultimately cancer in our bodies. And unfortunately, in our country, the majority of items that you would be purchasing from the grocery store probably have GMOs in them. I actually was looking at what was it? I think it was like pasta maybe, or something like that, and they didn't have any organic or non-GMO. So I thought I would try to get it from a different country or something like that. And I think it said like it was from Italy. And I looked on the back and it actually said made with bioengineered ingredients, which I don't know how that would work, because I don't think in Italy it's allowed, but maybe in Italy that is one that's allowed. So it just goes to show you have to really read labels. And I know you know that, Summer, from your visit to the store with the California regulatory warning on a shelf that you were going to buy. So yeah, I mean, everywhere we turn, there could be poisons that we're not expecting or not aware of. So if we can try to be as aware as possible of compounds in our environment that could be inhibiting our immune function, and try to make sure that we are coming in contact with compounds that are actually cancer killers. Cancer fighters are good because they're helping our immune system to fight the cancer. But if we can come in contact with as many compounds as possible that cause apoptosis, and I actually talk about that in my book, Discover the Essence of Plant Medicine, the 5 Principles of Life-Saving Herbs. And we actually go over a number of cancer killers and cancer fighters. It's a pretty extensive book. It's about 650 pages. You can ask Summer. She could tell you. It'd take you a long time to get through it. And there's also 150 different recipes in there, and it tells you, so I'm not sure if any people are aware, but my husband actually 7 years ago got a triple hit of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer diagnosis. And what a triple hit means is that the BCL2 gene is present and the MYC gene is present. And the MYC gene means that the cancer cells are very aggressive. And then the BCL2 gene means that they don't die. So, right, makes you feel like you have no hope. But I just basically researched those two, what I just said, and I was able to come up with an immune building protocol that my husband took, and we had the cancer gone in 3 months, to his oncologist's dismay. And every time that we go back and see her, she always says that whatever we were doing and are still doing, because we continue to do it, is definitely working, and to keep it up, because the kind of cancer that he had definitely would have come back by now. So he continues to take the protocol every day, and I've actually started taking it now too. And in the book, anywhere that it's a plant that we use for the protocol, it will say right at the top, immune building protocol, so that you know that that's one of the plants that we used in his immune building protocol that we still continue to use, like I said. And there's lots of recipes in there. Like frankincense, for example, is for anyone who's suffering with a brain cancer diagnosis. Frankincense has teeny tiny molecules called sesquiterpenes, and they pass through the blood-brain barrier. And when they come into contact with with any kind of cancer cells, they kill them on contact. Like we said, it causes apoptosis, which is cellular suicide, like we mentioned a minute ago. And we actually had a patient that had lung cancer, and she was so nauseous. Like they had actually told her to go home and get hospice. One hospital did, that there was nothing that they could do for her. And she contacted me, and I actually went there and started her on my protocol. And she found another doctor who was willing to give her chemo. She had lung cancer, and she was responding well to the chemo, but she was so nauseous. And they were wondering if maybe she had brain cancer, because brain cancer can cause nausea. So they did a PET scan, and they found that she did have brain cancer. There were nodes on her brain, and so in order to treat brain cancer, they actually use radiation for that. And in Missouri, which is where this was, they don't actually, I don't know if other places do or not, but in Missouri, they don't do chemo and radiation at the same time. So she was responding so well to the chemo that they didn't want to stop the chemo and start treating the brain cancer. So they just crossed their fingers basically and hoped that the brain cancer didn't continue to grow. And we started the protocol, like I said, and I also added frankincense to it, because I actually didn't give my husband that. That wasn't one that was in our protocol. But I gave it to her, this patient, for the brain cancer. And like I said, the hospital was not giving her anything for the brain cancer, right? And so 2 months later, she had another PET scan, because they wanted to see the situation with the brain cancer and what the condition of it was, if it had grown, or, hoping that it hadn't, and it was gone. It was actually gone. So that was, like I said, nothing that they did, because they weren't doing anything to treat the cancer. That was her body that treated it, that killed it. And there's probably about 5 or 6 supplements that we had her on that I attribute that to specifically. But definitely frankincense was one of them. And I wrote all about frankincense in my book. And if you're wondering how to use it, you can find it in my book. The title of the book is Discover the Essence of Plant Medicine, the 5 Principles of Life-Saving Herbs, Cannabis Edition. And if you would like to take it a step further, we actually at Nature's Mysteries Academy of Holistic Health are open now for enrollment for our fall session, and we will be beginning September 12th our holistic health practitioner program, which upon completion you could apply to become a board certified holistic health practitioner. And it's a 12-week program. We'll be meeting every week on Tuesdays. And then there's also a discussion post, a group on Facebook, and there's 2 discussion posts a week that are also required for the class. So it doesn't take much. There is a lot of reading because, like I said, it's 650 pages, and we're going to do that in 12 weeks. So there's a lot of information there. I've gotten great feedback from some other students. Summer's one of them. Thank you, Summer. And some other students that took the class said it was a paradigm shifter, that they've never seen that much information in one book before. We go over growing, harvesting, storing, preparations, applications. There's a whole chapter about cancer. I was actually contracted to write the book by the University of Natural Health as an herbal course for them. And so the director of the school asked me if I would put as much information as possible about my husband's journey so that when others get a cancer diagnosis, they can know that it does not have to be a death sentence. So the 6th chapter is all about my husband's journey from beginning to end, where we were cancer free. And like I said, we're 7 years out now. He's doing great. He's healthier than he's ever been. He takes good care of himself, and people that see him always tell him that he looks better than he has ever. So it's amazing sometimes that a cancer diagnosis can seem like the worst thing that's ever happened to you, but for some folks it actually was life-changing and saved their life because they were spiraling down a rabbit hole of unhealthy, lifestyle choices with their diet and, other lifestyle choices that, whether it's drugs or alcohol or processed foods or, like I said, a toxic job. But once you change those, the body, given what it needs, will heal itself. So a cancer diagnosis doesn't have to be a death sentence. It can just be like an awakening and a way of your body telling you that whatever you're doing isn't working and you need to change. And if you listen, you will be rewarded greatly. And if you don't listen, then you might not be. So any kind of pain is always like a friend. It's like a signal that your body is trying to give you that something that you're doing, you need to do less of or you need to do more of. Only you know that, whether it's eat more of the right foods or exercise less. Or exercise more, drink less. Whatever it is that you do that are your vices, you need to weigh out, because like I said, a lot of times when we're young, we feel like, oh, I don't feel it. They say those things are bad, but I feel fine. But after 20 years of doing those things, then, I've actually had people say, if I had known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself, honestly. So we want to live a long time, right? Life is good. Look at, it's beautiful. Life is wonderful. And if I'm sorry, the place that you're in, if it's not a happy place, I hope that you're able to find joy. And one of the ways is by expressing gratitude, because it actually changes the wiring of our brain. And as far as mindfulness practices go, meditation and gratitude combined are actually known to boost immune function as well. So taking the time to meditate can move you out of fight or flight. And if we're in a constant state of fight or flight, we can move into adrenal fatigue and burnout, and that's not going to be good, right? So if we take the time to meditate, even just expressing gratitude, when you express gratitude, it actually changes the neurochemicals in your body and makes your body healthier, because your body is secreting hormones that are beneficial for your immune function instead of detrimental, right? such as like oxytocin and serotonin, as opposed to like cortisol and adrenaline. Those have a place when we need them, if there's like a tiger coming and we're trying to run from it. But we can't just stay in that constant state because it's not healthy. We need to move out of it, bring ourselves into a state of awareness where we're in the here and now. We're not just constantly planning for the future, thinking about the past. We have so many thoughts a day. There's so many thoughts that our brains, a specific amount actually, I can't remember what it is, so I don't want to say the wrong one, but let's say it's, 19,000 thoughts that our brains have a day. What are you going to do? Are you going to just spend every day thinking the same thoughts, especially if there was some kind of trauma that happened to you in your life? You don't want to just keep reliving that trauma because your body actually doesn't know that it's not happening now. Any memory that you have is associated with a physical feeling and an emotion attached to it. So when you experience that memory, you think of that memory, your body doesn't know that you're not there, and your body actually starts secreting the same hormones that it did at that moment when you were in that place. So if you're constantly thinking of happy memories and reliving great times, then your gut body's going to be secreting those joy hormones and you're going to be feeling better. But if you're constantly reliving trauma and arguments and confrontations that you've been through, that you've experienced in your life. And like I said, I'm sorry if you did. I'm not saying that, not validating that happened to you or trying to say that, it didn't happen or you should get over it or anything like that at all. But if you can try to focus on what you are happy about and things that make you feel happy and bring you joy, then you are going to feel better. I can definitely tell you that. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out. We love to talk about CBD, immune building, cancer-free protocols, any herbal medicines, anything like that. And we offer free 15-minute consultations for folks who are interested. CBD and cannabis are also other plants that you can use that actually cause apoptosis. And not only do they cause apoptosis, but so when cancer cells are growing, the way that they grow, it's called angiogenesis, and they're actually sending out new blood vessels and communicating with other cancer cells and growing. And so CBD, hemp, cannabis, both help to stop that communication so that they're not communicating. Also helps to stop angiogenesis, so it prevents them from growing, and it also shrinks tumors. So there's so many reasons if you have a cancer diagnosis to incorporate CBD, THC, CBG, CBDA, any of those cannabinoids into your cancer killing regime to try to boost your immune system and reduce those cancer cells and kill them in your body. And in my book, there's a whole section all about cannabis and your endocannabinoid system, how it works in your body, what conditions you can use cannabinoids to relieve, how to grow it, process it, all that, use it. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can find all that information in my book. Again, it's called Discover the Essence of Plant Medicine, the 5 Principles of Life-Saving Herbs. And we also go over that in our Holistic Health Practitioner program. And not sure if I said that our school is accredited by the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. So upon completion, like I said, I remember telling you that you could become a holistic health practitioner. And it's not just like, a lot of other herbal schools can offer you a certificate of completion, but at our school, you'll actually get a board certification. So that's just a little bit more of a professional credential that you can, show to people who are interested in your services. It just offers a lot higher level of learning that you have achieved in your studying and in your research. So that's always an option. And like I said, begins September 12th, and we're actually having a 10% off sale right now until the end of the month. So you can enjoy 10% off on that program take advantage of those savings at naturesmysteries.com. And I think that's about all we have for today. I thank everyone for joining us. And like I said, if you have any questions, you can reach out at naturesmysteriesInfo@yahoo.com or message us, or our phone lines are open every night until 11 p.m. and you can reach us at 802-624-6540. So thank you everyone for joining us. I appreciate you, and discover the essence of plant medicine.